Tanse, good evening. I'm Chrystia. Welcome to APTN National News. Thank you for joining us. It was a day of turmoil on Parliament Hill on Monday. It started with the resignation of two cabinet ministers, including Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland, just hours before she was set to deliver the fiscal economic statement. By day's end, a new finance minister had quickly been sworn in, but many questions still remain, including the future of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau himself. APTN's Fraser Needham has more.
I'm still here for now.
The day started with the resignation of Housing Minister Sean Fraser, soon followed by Chrystia Freeland. Walking into a cabinet meeting Monday morning, ministers clearly appeared surprised at the finance minister's sudden resignation. In a letter posted on her Twitter account and dated December 16th, Freeland said she could no longer continue on as finance minister after the Prime Minister effectively told her on Friday that he no longer wanted her to continue on in this role. At a press conference on Parliament Hill, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre said it is time for an election and called on NDP leader Jagmeet Singh to defeat the government on a confidence vote.
Mr. Trudeau is being held in office by one man, Jagmeet Singh. A fifth of Liberal MPs have written a letter for him to resign. His Deputy Prime Minister has walked out on him. His Housing Minister has quit.
Singh also said it is time for Trudeau to go, but stopped short of saying the NDP will bring down the government on a confidence vote.
And so I want to make it very clear, Justin Trudeau has to go. He has to resign. And because of that, all options are on the table.
Late in the day, Public Safety Minister Dominic LeBlanc was sworn in as Finance Minister.
Distinguished guests, please welcome the Honourable Dominic LeBlanc, the Prime Minister and the Governor-General of Canada.
Government House Leader Karina Gold ended up delivering the fiscal economic statement. It contains a 2-month GST tax break and a $61.9 billion deficit for 2023-24, more than $20 billion greater than what Freeland originally predicted. Fraser Needham, APTN National News, Ottawa.
And the leader of the Bloc Québécois was quick to react.
Mr. Trudeau's government is over. He must acknowledge that and act accordingly. I believe that the departure of his so important ally, Minister of Finances, Vice First Minister, Prime Minister, is the end of this government. And that at the latest in the beginning of 2025, the Prime Minister should go to the General Governor and ask for the dissolution of the Parliament in order for Quebecers and Canadians to compose a new Parliament.
Canada's premiers are meeting also today to discuss Canada's response to U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's tariffs threat. Ontario's Doug Ford is hosting the meeting and was asked about Freeland's move. Here's what he had to say about that.
You must be concerned about the resignation of Chrystia Freeland.
Well, I think we all are, but again, this is a time for the premiers to step up, which we're going to, and project unity across the country. And again, we have great premiers, all different locations from coast to coast to coast. And I'm blessed to be chair and have a great team right there with us. So thank you, everyone.
Ford has taken a strong position on the tariff threats, saying Ontario could cut off the electricity the province supplies to several states south of the border. The premiers have had virtual meetings with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to discuss Trump's tariff threats, pressing him for more funding on border security and to plan a coordinated response. Also this week, thousands of postal workers across the country are being ordered back to work starting tomorrow, bringing an end to a month-long strike. Today, frustrated Canada Post workers took to the streets in Toronto.
I'm not happy. I'm very, very unhappy because I don't expect that the minister would do what he did.
We're here today as postal workers to say that we're tired of the government intervening in our negotiations. All we've been trying to achieve in the last 4 weeks is a fair negotiated contract.
Canada Post says the Industrial Relations Board declared an impasse after 2 days of hearings over the weekend. The board then ordered a return to work. The federal government let the board determine if a back-to-work order should be imposed. We're always looking for your feedback or story ideas. Here's how you can continue the conversation with us. If you have a story you want to share, send us an email to news@aptn.ca. To read and watch our stories, you can go to www.aptnnews.ca. And you can also find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. A young First Nations hockey player from the Yukon is no stranger to breaking records, and now he has another huge accomplishment underneath his belt. Sarah Connors has the story.
Parsani to McKenna in front, he scores!
Hockey star Gavin McKenna is celebrating what he says is a dream come true. On Friday, the 16-year-old Trondukwitchin citizen from Whitehorse was selected by Team Canada to play at the World Juniors that begin next week. He's the youngest player named in this year's Team Canada roster.
This is kind of the biggest accomplishment for me yet, I would say, and it's obviously going to be one I remember for the rest of my life.
McKenna is one of only 8 16-year-olds to be chosen for the World Juniors. That list includes the likes of Wayne Gretzky and Sidney Crosby. McKenna's mother says she couldn't be more proud.
He's wanted this literally since he's been, literally 2 years old. This has been a dream of his, so it's very exciting.
McKenna currently plays for the Medicine Hat Tigers, leading the Canadian Hockey League this season with an impressive 60 points in 30 games. While he isn't eligible for the NHL draft until 2026, experts predict he'll be the #1 pick. Those close to McKenna say he's gearing up to be the next big name in hockey.
I obviously think and believe that he's got a very bright future. I think that there's no real limit to what he can accomplish. He's got those abilities and he's got that drive.
McKenna is the second Yukoner to play for Team Canada at the World Juniors, the other being Dylan Cousins, who won gold in 2020. Team Canada will open this year's tournament on Boxing Day in Ottawa with a game against Finland. Sarah Connors, APTN National News, Whitehorse.
Another person from the White Bear First Nation in Saskatchewan has died. We'll bring you an update when we come back. Welcome back. After 9 days, police have arrested a man they say was involved in a death in the White Bear First Nation in southeastern Saskatchewan earlier this month. Dwayne Maxey was wanted for 1 count of manslaughter after Carlisle RCMP were called to a home in White Bear First Nation on December 3rd. When RCMP arrived, they found the body of 33-year-old Talon Lone Thunder, who is from White Bear but was living in Cornack. On December 7th, 22-year-old Jeremy White Bear, wanted for second-degree murder in connection to Lone Thunder's death, was later found in a home in White Bear and arrested. On Thursday, December 12th, Maxey was found and arrested in Regina. He was scheduled to appear in court in Estevan this morning. Meanwhile, the Saskatchewan Serious Incident Response Team is investigating after a man from the White Bear First Nation appears to have died while in RCMP custody. On Friday, December 13th at around 12:20 a.m., Carlisle RCMP received a report of an assault in a home on White Bear First Nation. 2 injured people were found inside. An adult male was taken to hospital with serious injuries, and an adult female was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Officers then arrested a 49-year-old man from White Bear. They took him to the Carlisle detachment, and he was monitored by staff throughout the night. At around 9 a.m., an officer found the man in medical distress and began providing first aid until EMS arrived. He was declared deceased by EMS and was not named. His family has been notified, and the Serious Incident Response Team is now investigating. In Saskatoon, a courtroom erupted into anger last week when a judge stayed charges against a driver who allegedly killed a child after prolonged court proceedings not finished within a reasonable amount of time. CTV's Laura Woodward reports.
It was a tense courtroom as a judge ruled to stay the charge against a Saskatoon woman who hit and killed a 9-year-old child.
Bailey Maurice was going to school on September 9th, 2021, pushing her scooter at a crosswalk on 33rd Street West when she was hit by Kennedy's truck. At the crash scene, before police read out her rights, Kennedy told officers she vaped marijuana and microdosed magic mushrooms the day prior. Kennedy was charged with impaired driving exceeding the prescribed blood-drug concentration of THC causing death. The judge ruled Kennedy's case was not handled within a reasonable time, prompting some in the gallery to yell at the judge, calling her a racist. Additional sheriffs were brought in as people continued to shout and the judge rushed out the door.
We're obviously very happy with the judge's decision to stay the proceeding for unreasonable delay. We've been saying for some time now that the trial has taken too long.
Matters at Canadian provincial courts must reach a conclusion by 18 months. The judge ruled Kennedy's matter took about 24 months. Even if the judge didn't stay the charges because of timing, the defense believes the case would have been thrown out over how police handled the investigation.
This was a prosecution that was flawed from the get-go.
And while the Crown did not speak to journalists after the decision, the defense says it's expecting the prosecution to file an appeal.
This little girl deserves justice, and that's not what we got. The court system is filled with nothing but systematic racism, not only towards the Indigenous community, but towards other communities of color.
And I want to believe that justice does happen, but on days like this, it's really hard for me to say that I'm a lawyer and that I'm proud of it.
The girl's family says they're bracing for another tough Christmas without their loved one, leaving the courthouse still searching for justice. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations will hold a press conference on Tuesday, along with the mother of Bailey Maurice. APTN News will continue to follow that story. To Manitoba now, where a man has died following a shooting near the Ebb and Flow First Nation west of Winnipeg. On Sunday, December 15th at around 7:45 a.m., St. Rose RCMP responded to a report of a shooting on Highway 278 near Ebb and Flow First Nation. Both RCMP and EMS found a 34-year-old man on the ground beside a truck. He was taken to hospital in Dauphin but died from his injuries. RCMP later arrested a 53-year-old man in a home in Ebb and Flow. He was arrested without incident and remains in custody. No names have been released. Manitoba RCMP Major Crime Services is now investigating. We have a couple of Indigenous ice superstars to introduce you to next. Those stories when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. Eddie was cruising and he can't wait to get on the road again on a long and lonesome highway. He's a man of means. By no means he's king of the road. That's a little Roger Miller for you, for those who don't know. Thank you, Eddie Leonard, for that snowy photo. For the chance to be our next photo of the day, send us your photos to share at aptn.ca. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. Starting on the east, St. John's 4, Charlottetown 8. The Grand River 1, Kuujjuaq -6. Montreal 3, Quebec City 7. Windsor 5, Toronto 7. 2 in Timmins, Thunder Bay -3. The Paw -15, Puckatawagan -19. Dauphin -17, Barons River -12. -15 in Yorkton, Saskatoon -17. Uranium City -25, Buffalo Narrows -20. -21 in Fort Chipewyan, High Level -21 as well. -11 in Red Deer, Lethbridge -6. Tofino 8, Bella Coola -1. Sand Spit 7, Smithers -7. Watson Lake -23, Mayo -19. -28 in Yellowknife, Norman Wells sunny and -32. Tuktoyaktuk -28, Inuvik -26. Baker Lake -26, Chesterfield -28. And the Igloolik -22, Iqaluit -22 as well. A clinical trial to treat a rare type of cancer has shown remarkable results for a young patient in BC. APTN's Tina House has that story.
Emmett Doolin is now 2.5 years old and is a happy, playful, and energetic toddler. However, when Emmett's mom Lana was 34 weeks pregnant, her and her other mom Lena were told some devastating news about their unborn baby girl.
The ultrasound tech had told the physician that there was something wrong. There was water on our baby's brain and that we needed to be shipped out as soon as possible. By 11:30 that night, we were at BC Children's Hospital. We'd met close to 30 to 40 doctors in the few days that led up to Emmett's birth.
Doctors did a fetal MRI and concluded that Emmett had an aggressive brain tumor, and at a week old, they said results showed a rare type of cancer.
And they fully diagnosed her with a diffused midline glioma. So she has a tumor that sits on the left side of her brain, and where it sits is right on the middle.
She is one of only 3 in Canada that have it, and because of where the tumor is located, it's inoperable. She endured 2 rounds of chemo and numerous blood transfusions the first few months of her life, but the next rounds would have been life-altering for her.
The next set of chemo would have given her hearing loss, vision impairment, probably even mobility issues. We try to live every day like it's going to be her last, because we never know what's going to happen.
And then a miracle happened. Doctors at BC Children's Hospital told them that Emmett qualified for a clinical trial that was specific for her type of cancer and was intended to target her brain tumor without the side effects of chemo. So at 4 months old, they began medicine twice a day, and it's working. Her tumor has shrunk by 36%. Dr. Quinn Doan is with BC Children's Hospital and says Emmett's case is unique.
Emmett is a little miracle, just how she is, just how vivacious she is, but she's also a miracle because she had a condition that could have been fatal.
Dr. Doan says BC Children's Hospital is looking to expand a super hub that would see more clinical trials for other diseases available for children in BC and the Yukon.
So a clinical trial is a type of study that is looking specifically at whether or not certain interventions work or not, how safe they are. So these are usually therapeutic options that are not otherwise accessible.
Every month, the family travels from their home in northern BC for checkups with doctors, and so far, so good.
At first, it was very emotional, but seeing her grow every day and hit milestones that she's supposed to hit, it's a wonderful feeling because we never thought that we would see that day.
And Emmett has a message for everyone.
Say peace out, homie.
Tina House, APTN National News, Vancouver.
At just 16 years old, Inuk figure skater Canik Allerton moved to Winnipeg from Iqaluit to pursue his dreams. Over the weekend, he competed in the Gordon Linney Open, where he chatted with reporter Sierra Bettens about his journey.
As a competitive figure skater, a week in Canik Allerton's life is different for most 16-year-olds.
I'm pretty busy. I'm in school full-time. I train 4 times a week. I coach 3 times a week. I do Pilates class every Wednesdays after school.
This weekend's competition, the Provincial Gordon Linney Open, is one the Inuk skater has been anticipating for months.
I think, Canik and I are really proud of the program he skated today. It's new, there's new elements, there's an added difficulty, and so it's really just kind of the place that we build for the season, and we'll be training through to get ready for provincials.
Allerton started figure skating competitively 2.5 years ago, but his love of skating dates back to his early childhood.
When I was 9 years old, my parents put me into a Learn How to Skate program back home in Iqaluit, Nunavut. I was really good at it, and they suggested figure skating, and I tried it out. Turns out I love it.
Back home in Nunavut, a lack of ice time and trained coaches stalled the young skater's progress. After participating in a summer skills camp in Winnipeg last year, he made the move to Manitoba to access opportunities while living with the Métis host family. Though far from home, he's found ways to incorporate his Inuit culture into his routine.
I choose songs in Inuktitut to also represent my Inuit culture. I'm skating to California Moot from Mississippi, one of my all-time favorite Inuit artists. I designed my costume with an Inuk seamstress from Winnipeg. On the back, we added sealskin to it to represent my Inuit culture. And this fur is Arctic hare from Iqaluit.
His coach, Tina Chen, says Allerton is a gift to Winnipeg's skating community.
Mechanics brought a lot of knowledge about Inuit culture, sharing it with the skaters, and I think being able to see that perspective and know his goals. And so it's just been, Mechanic brings so much to the club and adds so much to our everyday setting, and just his joy of skating is evident in everything he does.
Over the phone with APTN, Allerton's grandmother, Nutsuk Kangu, said her grandson is a role model to many youth up north.
Growing up in Iqaluit and having to witness so much change in the Arctic, so many different things happening in the Arctic, and kind of focus on something that he can show other young people that it is possible to become a role model like him, to become somebody like him.
But Allerton's commitment to figure skating goes beyond athleticism. For him, it's about helping other Inuit skaters achieve their dreams.
My goal is to become a coach, to coach back home in Iqaluit, Nunavut, where there's not that infrastructure to get the training to become a coach.
Allerton's next step is preparing for the Provincial Championship in March 2025. Sierra Buttons, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
Great job, Kanik. And that's your evening newscast for this Monday, December 16th. We're back again for your daytime newscast tomorrow. Be sure to join us then. From all of us at APTN National News, hi masicho miigwech kwana. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again. Ekse.